Alright, Odd Socks crew, strap in and grab your lead-lined sneakers because today we're diving headfirst into one of the most chaotic arcade marathons of the 80s. We're talking Atomic Runner Chelnov. Now, the premise here is bonkers even by arcade standards. Chelnov, just your average power plant worker who gets caught in a nuclear explosion, and most of us would be filing an incident report and phoning a lawyer, but Chelnov, nah, he shrugs it off, mutates into a glowing super athlete, and immediately signs up to save the world.
Watch out, radioactive man!
Brilliant reading again.
Watch out, radioactive man!
Fantastic!
Forget workers' comp, this guy went full superhero mode. But here's the kicker, Chelnov doesn't just fight bad guys, he runs. And I mean, he runs constantly. No breaks, no bathroom stops, no just slowing down to tie my laces. He's permanently sprinting like he's late for his shift. While you're trying to blast enemies, dodge lasers and duck under obstacles all at the same time. It's the ultimate multitasking nightmare, or dream, depending on how much caffeine you've had that morning. And the enemies, forget zombies and skeletons, we're talking nuclear mutants, flying machines, robot monstrosities, all throwing everything at you while you're locked into this full-speed jog through chaos. And then, just when you think you've got it under control, bam! Giant bosses that look like they were designed by someone who spent too much time doodling during science class. It's fast, it's frantic, and it's unforgiving, and honestly, it's one of the most original arcade runs ever made. So grab your Evercade, fire up your reflexes, and let's see if we can keep pace with the radioactive marathon man himself, because if you blink, Chelnov's already 10 miles ahead of you. As always, we'll be looking at the story, the sound, and the gameplay, and a little later on, I'll be letting you guys know my Evercade stats on how long it took me to complete Atomic Runner Chelnov. But before we do that, let me just jump in with some interesting facts about this Evercade cart. Windjammer's Chelnov and Friends was released on July 10th, 2025, and was purple cart number 15. This isn't just some throwback bundle, this cart delivers arcade energy in full force. From the disc-throwing chaos of Windjammers to the fire-breathing antics of Chelnov, plus a lineup of wildcard titles you might have forgotten but will happily get salty over again. This collection is all about unashamed, no-regretting fun. This game contains 5 arcade classics: Windjammers, Chelnov, Atomic Runner Chelnov, Vapor Trail, Hyper Offensive Formation, and Rogar Armor Force. And yes, the difficulty here is real. Windjammers demands precision, reflexes, and the occasional throw your controller moment. Chelnov, he doesn't just breathe fire, he laughs while doing it. These are the games that will cost you more than your pride, they'll cost you your lunch break too. But that's part of the joy, isn't it? Because arcade games like this don't try to coddle you. They ask for your skills, your patience, and a generous stash of continues, whether you're chucking discs, dodging dragon breath, or getting blindsided by some bizarre bonus stage. This cart delivers pure vintage arcade satisfaction. So was the cart well received? You betcha, especially by retro fans, collectors, and multiplayer enthusiasts who were eager for Windjammers and Data East's more obscure entries to get some spotlight. But this cart isn't without its flaws, and age shows in some of the games, and 5 games overall on a cart can feel a little light, but the positive seems to outweigh the negatives for the most part, and the cart was very well received. Now, I paid $33.33 for this cart, but we can't say that because this has 5 games on it. And for the purpose of today's review, we're only reviewing Atomic Runner Chelnov, meaning we need to say that I paid $3.33. Meaning for me to get my $10 per hour equivalent ratio, I'll need to play and complete this game in longer than 40 minutes. And I can successfully say I achieved that, completing the game in 2 hours and 59 minutes, meaning my $10 per equivalent ratio equals $2.24 per hour, which is a massive bargain in my books. I had a play count of 1, a load count of a massive 566, and a save count of 106, and that just shows how difficult this game really is. Let's take a look at the story. So you are Chelnov, a humble coal miner with a superhuman twist. A nuclear accident has given you the powers that make you basically the Moon Knight of the mining world, but with way less brooding and more running, jumping, and blasting. One day, as you're minding your own business underground, the reactor goes kaboom, baby, mutating everything in sight and turning the world into a playground for chaos. Naturally, it's up to you to clean up the mess because who else is going to do it? The government? Nah, I doubt it. So Chelnov isn't just running around aimlessly though. Oh no, the radioactive organization of evil scientists, or something equally ominous, is hell-bent on global domination. They've unleashed an army of cybernetic beasts, missiles, and genetically modified nightmares just to make sure you don't survive your morning commute from mine to the surface. And Chelnov, he's got the legs, the jumps, and the laser blast to make sure these villains regret ever touching their evil calculators. The story is pure arcade brilliance. It's simple, it's high stakes, and it's very loud. There isn't much exposition, and you don't need to know the CEO of the evil organization's backstory or why the lab assistant is secretly a robot cat. Nope. This game expects you to run, jump, blast, and survive, and that's exactly what you do. It's as if someone said, let's take the nuclear apocalypse, throw in a caffeinated coal miner, and let's see what happens. Spoiler, what happens is chaos, explosions, and one seriously angry Chelnov. Along the way, you'll dodge crumbling platforms, destroy robot drones, leap over radioactive pits, and generally make the bad guys' days miserable. And the bosses, they are gigantic, grotesque, and absolutely insane. Think mutated robots that seem to exist only to challenge your reflexes and your sanity. Every encounter feels like an action movie condensed into a 10-minute sprint where the only plot point is, don't die. What's charming about Atomic Runner is its simplicity. The story gives you just enough to justify the non-stop chaos, but the real fun is the gameplay itself. Every level is a frantic blur of running, shooting, and dodging, and you may not know why Chelnov's running across a city on fire, but who really cares? He looks pretty damn cool doing it. But by the time you reach the final stage, you feel like you've survived a nuclear-powered roller coaster, lungs burning, fingers aching, adrenaline pumping, and just a hint of existential dread. And that's the magic of Atomic Runner Chelnov. The story doesn't need to be complicated because the action does all the talking. So for the Oddsock score on the Atomic Runner Chelnov, I give it a 4 out of 10. And that is being generous. The plot, nuclear accident happens, Chelnov gets powers, and bad guys are evil, and your job is to run, jump, blast, and repeat, and that's basically it. It's like the game read Forrest Gump and said, run, Chelnov, run. Except with more lasers, explosions, and angry mutant enemies. The narrative is minimal, so minimal that it almost feels like the story itself is gasping for breath between all the chaos. Chelnov doesn't stop to explain why the robots are evil, why the streets are full of missiles, or why nuclear labs apparently have the worst safety record in gaming history. He just keeps running, and running, and running, and blasting like a caffeinated miner who's late for the end of the world. And let's be real, that's kind of hilarious. The game basically throws you into a live-action physics experiment. How many things can explode at once before Chelnov hits the ground? And somehow, our hero survives it all. He's kind of like Forrest Gump, if Forrest Gump had laser guns and a vendetta.
From that day on, if I was going somewhere, I was running.
The story is mining for excitement. Get it? Mining, because Chelnov's a miner. And let's face it, the run portion of the story deserves an Olympic medal. And at this point, Chelnov is basically screaming run, Forrest, run also, while dodging everything the game throws at him. In short, the story is enough to justify the chaos, but it's basically a skeleton of a plot with a lot of nuclear toppings. It's minimal, it's quirky, and it's absurd, but it's perfect for a game where the main goal is to run like your life depends on it, because, spoiler alert, it actually does. Let's take a look at the sound. So the music in Atomic Runner Chelnov is pure pedal to the metal, don't even think about stopping energy. The soundtrack is basically a rocket booster for your ears. From the moment Chelnov dashes across the screen, the pounding beats and catchy melodies make it impossible not to feel like you're starring in your very own sci-fi action anime, even if all you're doing is running, jumping, and occasionally screaming at your controller. Each stage has its own personality. The first level theme kicks off with a driving rhythm that says, "Move it, Chelnov, there's no time to check your emails here," and the boss themes crank up the tension like your mum yelling at you for tracking mud all through the kitchen. It's relentless, it's dramatic, and it's totally unforgettable. And don't get me started on the later stages, where the music just screams, "Keep running, keep dodging, run, Forrest, run!" Even the little touches like the game over tune stick with you. It's short, but somehow you'll find yourself humming it while making coffee or dodging actual responsibilities. This isn't just background music, it's a motivational coach, a dramatic announcer, and a slightly sarcastic friend all rolled into one. Honestly, sometimes the soundtrack is so good, it makes you forget Chelnov's story is, well, let's say minimal. Bottom line, the Atomic Runner Chelnov soundtrack is high impact energy, relentless and unforgettable. It's the perfect companion for a game that's all about running, jumping, and surviving impossible odds. Basically giving your ears a workout as intense as Chelnov gives his legs. And for the Oddsock score on the sound, I give this a 4 out of 10. The soundtrack of Atomic Runner Chelnov is pure high-octane arcade energy at first. From the moment Chelnov hits the ground running, the music pushes you forward, perfectly matching the relentless pace of the game. Every beat feels like someone screaming at you, and it's the audio equivalent of a personal trainer who's just discovered mild sadism. The tunes are punchy and fast-paced. It's great for the constant sprinting, laser blasts, and boss fights, and they create a sense of urgency that makes you want to vault over obstacles and punch mutants just to the rhythm. Initially, it's thrilling, but after dying approximately 87 times in the first 5 minutes, even the heroic soundtrack starts to feel a little repetitive. Yep, Chelnov, I hear you, but I'm not sure my brain can keep up. Now, the sound effects do deserve a bit of a mention. They're a bit chaotic, they're zippy and very arcadey, explosions are satisfyingly squishy, and enemies make a distinct noise when they're hit, and Chelnov jumps, slides, and attacks all with sharp, snappy sounds that make the action feel alive. Collecting items even has a cute little ping, giving your brain a tiny high five for surviving yet another mutant ambush. Some effects loop endlessly, which I understand is an arcade charm, but after a dozen brutal deaths in a row, even the ping started to feel like mocking laughter. All in all, I'd give the sound a 4 out of 10. It absolutely captures the frantic, over-the-top energy of the game, but after dying so much, the music's repetitive streak became very noticeable, and that's why it scored so low. It kept me engaged a little bit. I was laughing and maybe screaming at my screen, which is exactly the kind of chaos you want in an arcade run game. Let's take a look at the gameplay. Playing Atomic Runner Chelnov is like trying to run a marathon on a tightrope while juggling flaming mutants. And yes, it's just as intense as it sounds. From the very first level, you're sprinting across a post-apocalyptic city, leaping over craters, ducking under obstacles, and firing at enemies with the kind of precision that makes you feel like your thumbs are about to submit their resumes to NASA. The arcade stick became an extension of your very soul. With one wrong tilt, one misfired jump, and suddenly Chelnov is flattened, vaporized, or otherwise horribly dismembered. And don't even think about letting anything touch him, because one stray mutant or a single laser blast and it's game over faster than you can say, "What the hell happened?" The game doesn't hold your hand, and that's part of the fun. The difficulty ramps up faster than an energy drink-fueled roller coaster. You'll end up memorizing patterns, learning enemy placements, and somehow developing a sixth sense for incoming explosions. It's brutal, yes, but also very addictive, and every death feels like a personal challenge from the game itself, whispering, "You think you can survive this? Think again, buddy." Boss fights are another level of madness. Massive screen-filling monstrosities hurl projectiles in every direction, forcing you to weave, jump, and shoot with pixel-perfect timing. It's like playing a real-life version of Whack-A-Mole, except the moles can shoot lasers, and any one touch sends Chelnov flying into the stratosphere. The thrill of surviving even a few seconds against these foes is pure arcade joy, and the panic-induced button mashing often leaves you wondering if your thumbs have developed their own workout routine. Despite the punishing difficulty, the gameplay is simple to pick up, and you can start running and shooting almost immediately, which makes it easy to feel like you're a pro within seconds. But mastering it, that's a whole other story. Timing, reflexes, and sheer memorization are key, and if you're anything like me, you'll also be muttering at the screen, blaming the mutants, the lasers, and occasionally the universe itself. So for the odd-sock score on the gameplay, I give Atomic Runner Chelnov a 5 out of 10. It works, but oh boy does it make you sweat. From the first level, I was struggling to keep Chelnov alive. The difficulty is punishingly high. Anything that even breathes on him, touches him, or maybe even the shockwave from his own pounding feet, and it's instant death. Surely his own running should cause him to explode at some point, right? The precision required is ridiculous. You're constantly turning around, shooting enemies that appear from behind, while hopping over craters, dodging lasers, and sometimes feeling like the game is actively conspiring against you. One little slip up and it's back to the start, a cycle that made me question both my skills and my life choices. Every level demands near-perfect timing. You have to memorize enemy patterns, manage jumps and shoot simultaneously, and somehow keep your cool as Chelnov tears through the apocalyptic cityscape like a caffeinated jackhammer. Almost every moment feels like you're juggling flaming grenades while blindfolded, and I'll admit there were times I wanted to just throw the controller and let Chelnov meet his fate. Repeatedly. Despite all that, there's a strange satisfaction in finally clearing a tough stretch or surviving a boss attack. The game forces you to be precise in a way that's brutally rewarding if you stick it out, and though sticking it out may involve a lot of swearing, shaking of fists, and muttering threats at pixelated enemies. Overall, I give Atomic Runner Chelnov a 4 out of 10. The difficulty is absolutely brutal. Anything that even breathes near Chelnov seems to trigger an instant death. Jump, die, slide, die, a feather falling from the sky, you guessed it, die.
God! No! God, please, no! 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 No!
It's like the game wants to make sure you never feel safe for more than 2 seconds. Honestly, I half expected Chelnov's own footsteps to register a lethal attack. Boom! Sorry, Chelnov, you stomped too hard. It's back to level 1. You have to be surgical with every move, every jump, every turn, every shot has to be perfect, and even then, it feels like the game is mocking you. One minute you're sprinting like a hero, the next you're respawning because a mutant popped out of literally nowhere. Precision is everything and patience is optional, mostly because you'll lose it about 30 deaths in. For me, I much prefer other constant side-scrolling games because after suffering through Chelnov's Relentless Don't Touch Anything or You'll Explode cityscape, I realized Moon Patrol suddenly felt like a spa day. Smooth, manageable, just enough challenge to keep it fun, the exact opposite of sprinting across a pixelated war zone where even your own shadow is a threat. Atomic Runner is frantic, sure, but sometimes you want to run, not run for your life every 2 seconds. It's a game that demands perfection, laughs at your mistakes, and makes you wonder if Chelnov himself is secretly a masochist. Fun, sometimes. Frustrating, absolutely. Would I play it again voluntarily? Well, let's just say I might wait until my thumbs have recovered from the first time round. Thank you so much for watching another deep dive Evercade completion review. Please remember to give me a like, subscribe, and comment down below because your guys' thoughts is what drives me to continue doing these videos. And remember, if you really like this channel, hit that share button or tell your friends about me because I really want to hit 200 subs by the end of 2025. Until next time, guys, stay odd, stay awesome, and we'll see you on another episode of The Odd Socks next Friday. See you later, guys.